Many of you know I'm very bullish on Cardano. I'm so bullish on Cardano. And out of all cryptocurrencies, ADA is probably it's my go-to. It's my number one. I don't think there's really a secret there. And you also know I track Cardano all the time on the ADA charts. I think this charting approach, this technical analysis approach, is the simplest form of finding emotional stability and a non-emotional mindset in all of the chaos. And I'm talking about all-time highs and the FOMO involved there, and all of these swing low bear market formations, these crypto winters, and the fear that is there. This chart is like this roadmap that just allows us to have steady hands through it all, to make a plan so that we can benefit best in the long term. And I always say I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not. I'm just a guy tracking the data. But underlying the charts, right, there's a reason why, for me, I chose ADA. There's a reason why, after years of just being in crypto, on this crypto journey myself, I just gravitated towards ADA. And it's basically years and years of research. And not only is there this really, really solid market share play that I always talk about in terms of just the separation of Cardano blockchain and the valuation in market cap versus Ethereum. The spread there is so large. And I think Cardano can capture so much of that. And there's so much big money still ignoring that and still not paying attention. They're going to. They will. You're going to see these huge accounts on Twitter. I really think going to start talking about ADA eventually. And not only do you have that, right? You have that part of it, and even the charts and what they're setting up to do, I think, in the long term. But it's underlying all of those things. It's the fundamentals. In this top 10 crypto, which is Cardano, the fundamentals is what, for me, is just, it puts it over the edge as such an amazing opportunity in crypto. And what I'm talking about is the way that Cardano was built, the foundation of it, how it's continually being built. This is huge, because if you're trying to find a macro investment, right? And if you're trying to find macro success, you better invest in something that's going to be around for that very macro. When we say macro, we're talking about zoomed out. We're talking about the long term. So this thing needs to be around. And if it's going to be around, it needs to be secure. And that means it needs to be consistent, and it needs to be reliable. And this is why I've chosen Cardano. And it's always a tricky thing to talk about this, because we have to compare it to other blockchains. This is part of my crypto journey. It's kind of like you have to compare the competition when you're trying to figure out how to invest and what's best to invest in. We know the story with Ethereum. The merge delayed again. This is from this article from a few days ago. I'll put it in the description. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. And then we know what's been going on with Solana. Solana goes dark for the 7th time in 12 months, right? Solana had a hype phase, right, and boasting the insanely quick transaction speed, but transactions per second. But it's more than just speed, right? And for some people out there, it's kind of like, hey, give me the speed and just get rid of the security and the decentralization. I don't care about those things. Just give me the speed. And for me, that doesn't offer consistency, reliability. It doesn't offer the macro opportunity, because it's just unreliable. And now we have this happening with Solana. Users of Solana DeFi platform Solana Protocol voted to grant emergency power to Solana Labs to temporarily take over a large account on the cusp of liquidation. And this is it. Solana DeFi platform votes to control whale account. Users of Solana-based borrowing and lending service Solend voted Sunday to force a takeover of the protocol's largest account, a whale whose extremely large margin position was getting, according to Solend contributors, dangerously close to a catastrophic on-chain liquidation cliff. The unprecedented governance vote, Solend's first, will grant Solend Labs emergency powers to liquidate the whale's vulnerable assets. There was a comment here. It just, I hope I can find it. It was kind of funny. Here it is, this guy Daniel. So there was a decentralized vote for a centralized takeover to prevent a decentralized disaster. this is crypto where the space is supposed to be moving towards decentralization. And more specifically, it's DeFi. It's decentralized finance, where like things like this should not be happening at all. And these are just examples of why. I mean, this isn't me putting down, you know me, everybody. I don't sit here and talk trash on other blockchains. I'm not a fan of many of them. I'm a fan of Cardano for my reasons. I don't sit here talking trash, but these are just simply fundamental data points across the technology space that, for me, I have to pay attention to. And for a YouTube channel that covers a lot of Cardano, I have to pay attention to. And so what is it about Cardano? And it's right here. This is a June article. I'll post a link in the description. Cardano's foundational research overview, just summing some things up. Instead of having a singular authoritative white paper, the project combined a range of scientific design principles and engineering best practices to produce a solid, pioneering, research-based blockchain. That's it. Research-based blockchain, everyone. Over 139, and this article, I guess, is saying 139. I think there's 141 papers now. A set of the best practices, ideas, and contributions formed Cardano's foundation for building a secure, decentralized, and scalable ledger. It's a slower approach to many in the crypto space, this fast-moving, exciting, explosive headlining space. It's maybe boring, and it's had a slower approach, but it seems slow, but it's actually ahead. And it's because of this scientific, research-backed approach, right? The peer-reviewed approach. And there's now a substantial body of research represented by Input Output Global's extensive library of papers, which at the time of writing numbers 139. You go over here, here's the IOHK library, it's 141. And it's just, this is what draws me to Cardano. Achieving persistence and liveliness in a centralized system is a well-studied and fairly straightforward task, because that's what we're talking about here. Unfortunately, the ledger that emerges is precariously brittle because the server that supports the ledger becomes a single point of failure. As a result, hacking the server can lead to the instant violation of both properties. Even if the server is not hacked, the interests, and does this sound familiar? The interests of the server's operators may not align with the continuous assurance of these properties. For this reason, decentralization has been advanced as an essential remedy. Decentralization is important, everybody. And Cardano, in my view, and we're seeing all these things happen in different blockchains, Cardano, in my view, it's not flawless here. I want to say that, right? Like, things can go wrong with Cardano, but from a risk perspective and from a doing it right and doing it properly perspective, I think Cardano is far ahead, right? Many people think Cardano is behind. I think it's far ahead. And the headlines of the biggest cryptos, the biggest blockchains out there, right? The headlines just very clearly demonstrate that. Here's a headline for Ethereum. Here's the headlines for Solana. You know, Solana's just been getting shut down on top of what's happened here with taking over a whale account, right? So I wanted to do this video because I do think it's important. I like to step outside of just the charts, and if something happens here soon with the charts, I'll do a technical analysis in another video. But it's really, there are these things that lend itself to the opportunity. This is what intrigues me about Cardano, amongst so many other things. But with these headlines popping up, I just thought it would be important just to note, well, this is what sets a Cardano apart, in my view. There's a lot of people not listening. There's a lot of people that are so condescending out there against Cardano, just straight up lying about Cardano and how it's being built and what it offers. And, you know, I think it's important to put this information out there. And that's why I wanted to do this quick video, just to kind of not chart the data, but talk about the non-technical analysis data, because it's really important. It really is. And so this is just my crypto journey. That's what this is. I want to see the crypto space in general win. I want to see everybody win. I'm not rooting for other blockchains to fail or anything like that. But I cover Cardano a lot, and this is what we're watching. This is what we're seeing play out. And for me, it's seeing Cardano prove itself as a reliable, secure, and decentralized blockchain. And so when we look at the charts, we see opportunity here. I see opportunity here. And this is just my view on it, right? So we're going to continue watching what happens on these charts for sure, especially as we get ready to go into a new week. It's getting exciting. The crypto space is just crazy, crazy volatile right now. Anything can happen. But the fundamentals of Cardano, we are so early right now, everybody, as Cardano sits, ADA sits around 48 cents. We are so early, and I really think that. So time will tell what happens. I appreciate you cruising by. Hit the subscribe and like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.